So why are the Luo historically disproportionately on the receiving end of injustices and assassinations, political or otherwise, relative to other tribes? And notwithstanding whether they are friendly or hostile to the government, and no matter the president or where he comes from. Let me take you back in history to 1940s Hitler's Germany, and I quote, "Providence has ordained that I should be the greatest liberator of humanity. I'm freeing mankind from a restraint that has taken charge, from dirty and degrading self-mortification of a false vision called conscience and morality, and from the demands of a freedom and independence which only a very few can bear." Now, from that quote, do you understand why Hitler so hated the Jews? Conscience and morality. See, Hitler accused the Jews of inventing a sense of right and wrong. Before then, murder was okay until Moses, a Jew, came up with the 10 Commandments. And if you doubt me, then here is Hitler saying the same verbatim. The 10 Commandments have lost their validity. Conscience is a Jewish invention. Just like circumcision, it's a blemish. See, Hitler knew that conscience was the deterrence to evil. Without conscience, humankind could perpetrate the worst form of evil. And that was Jaramogi, and by extension, the Luo mistake. Let me explain. If you and your friends agreed to take advantage of a drunk woman in rape, God forbid, and then after you've all participated, only one refuses to go through with it, how would you feel? Guilty and judged. And that is what Jaramogi made Kenyatta and his acolytes feel. And then subsequently, if you're to hear a rumor, mark that your friend who just abstained from raping the woman, God forbid, is accused of theft, how would you feel? Elated and exonerated. He would have lifted your guilt. He just validated your position. After all, he's not that moral. That validation or legitimacy is the reason every single regime have always gone to Raila to bend the knee and kiss the ring. He lifts their guilt. So here's a rhetorical. Do you think with Raila on his side, the president is so worried about the fallout from the murder of Ojwang? You've heard me tell the Luo oftentimes that politics is devoid of morality. That's the point. The Luo conscience can hardly bear the burden of guilt. Why do you think most Kenyans trust Raila, believing that he understands their pain better? They hold him on a higher moral pedestal than his peers. In the last line of the first quote, Hitler stated that, "and from the demands of a freedom and independence that only a few can bear." That is profound. Meaning, hardly anyone with a conscience can bear the burden of guilt of evil, especially that of murder. It takes a uniquely special human being to kill another human being. So here's the point. In the history of the world, no other ethnicity has been targeted as the Jews. And in the history of Kenya, no other ethnicity has been targeted as the Luo. See, the original sin of the Luo people was to try to introduce conscience and morality in politics. But